You know what? I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and I need to vlog. I'm excited to see you too. Yay. And getting text messages at the same time. Hi guys, this is Connie. I don't know if I'm ever going to be bold enough to put this whole thing up as is because I kind of just want to let loose, which sometimes admits profanity, and that requires editing, so I guess I could come up with other words. Anywho, I'm having a very interesting day. Monday was kind of bleh, whatever. And most people saw the bye Felicia on most of my social media thingamajigs because I need to vent that out. Then I need to vent out some of the things that are happening today. And then I'm eventually going to read a book because that's what I do and that's what you guys like to see and hear and things. So here we go. And warning and spoiler alert, I'm probably going to cry at the end of this just because I can. Because I'm having one of those days and I just need to vlog and get it out of my system. And then I can, you know, splash some water on my face and maintain my composure. Because journaling takes too long to write. And who needs that right now when you have video diaries? So, Monday. Monday was wild. Because the bye Felicia thing is, without getting too much into detail, I understand the concept of forgive and forget. I think it's flawed because I agree, if you forgive somebody, you're not holding those past circumstances and issues and things against them. I get that. But I also know that we live and we learn and we have wisdom, God-given wisdom, and just lessons learned in life. So when somebody does something wrong to me, I don't want to hold that against you. I know that everybody makes mistakes. I know that everybody is human and that we're all hopelessly flawed, and that there's a lot that goes into why people do the things they do. I get that. I'm not always aware of it all the time. I usually have to sit back and reflect and go, well, if I was walking in their shoes, what would I be doing? Which I'm learning more and more playing certain games. Ooh, I could back up even to the fact that I almost rage quit Ingress because of disorganization and frustration and other people's drama that I didn't really want to step back into and invite into my life. Whew, loaded stuff. Lots of loaded things that if you don't understand the details and if you think it's about you, it's probably not about you because there are 15,000 other people in the world that we have to interact with. And surprise and spoiler alert, we're all human and we all eventually have the same kind of emotions and feelings. Even if the circumstances are not exactly the same, we are not alone in our experiences when it comes to everything we do in life. Just some of the names and the details have been switched to fit your situation. I digress. Learning to walk in other people's shoes makes you more sympathetic and empathetic to their situation. There are just some things I know I'm never going to understand, and now that I'm walking through things that I do understand quite well, yeah, wow. But, you know, so learning and walking and growing, all different things that happen at the same time, which is fun and wonderful and blah. God bless America. And I love it because one friend of mine who's actually celebrating a birthday today, she talked about the grace of God and how even when we get it wrong, which would be a response to a friend of mine who's posted recently, can you ruin your destiny? Can you destroy your fate because you decide to do what you want to do, even though God says he has plans for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a future and a hope. And I remember one time, I can't remember how, probably in youth group or something to that extent, as I was walking through youth leadership, is that plans is pluralized. There's a beautiful S at the end of it. Is it this way? Is it that way? I can't tell because I'm looking at it and you're not. Whatever. The point is, I know that God is sovereign, he is merciful, and he's gracious, and I know that I'm not going to understand all of that completely because I'm not God. So there are other plans out there. And I'm not saying we need to just shrug our shoulders and be like, well, that didn't work out. I guess God's got a different plan for me. He wants us to walk in the calling he has brought us to. And even when we screw up, even when we mess up, God's grace is still there to say, you know, you can't, I don't really believe you can destroy your destiny, because even if it was written out, God knows how to write and have imaginations better than any plot writer of any drama series that's out there. I remember walking through situations and go, God, you're going to have to do something because I don't know how, but I know that you can. So you do what needs to be done so that this can, I know God knows how to work things out together for the good of those, like you quoted, for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. I want to pick at scabs. And so, no, I don't believe you can destroy your destiny. I know you can't ruin it, because if you have breath in your lungs, if you're able to watch, read, listen to anything that I'm currently saying right now, if you have a pulse and you are alive, there is hope. There is always hope. There's always, you know what, I'm just frustrated with life. I think I'm going to take a nap, or, people have different ways of dealing with stress. I run my fingers through my hair because it makes me feel good. I'm not just doing this to do this. But while you still have breath in your lungs, there is always opportunity to cry out to God if that's what you learn and believe, and understand that, God's not usually always going to plop something in your lap. He'll open doors. He'll shut doors, sometimes directly in your face. Whoo! Long time since I've ever experienced that. But God knows what he's doing. And I'm not saying he runs us like a maze runner. He gives us free will. And you could choose, you can only go, I heard one person say that when it comes to walking in the plan of God, you can only go as far or as back as your last act of obedience or disobedience in Christ. And it ultimately, for people who are Christian, it's more than just religion. If it was just religion, it's gonna eventually fail, because most and all religions fail and frustrate. And it's, what is the motivation behind that? It's not a religion, it's a relationship, and it's true. We have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ, the creator of the universe, and that is amazing, and that is awesome. But that doesn't also give us a license to shake a finger at people and say, you're doing it wrong. It's more like coming up and living life beside somebody and say, this is what I see, and this is why I'm telling you, and it's not because I'm trying to put you down, it's because I want to see you do better things with your life than this. And that gets really complicated, because when you start to have certain convictions, or groups of people have those certain things, and you wonder, okay, how did Jesus walk through his entire existence? He ate with sinners, he healed the sick, he was constantly ridiculed by the religious establishment, but he never sinned. And he did everything that God told him to do. He's like, I can only see and do what the Father does, because he had a constant communication, and that relationship was so super strong. So it becomes this thing where if I want to live a righteous, godly life, I have to seek God out. And I'm not saying you're not seeking God out, but trust me, when you eventually seek God out, he's going to provide through life lessons, through experiences. They're almost like pop quizzes in life. And even if you fail, don't worry. There are 15 other opportunities that he'll probably set up in the next week or the next month or the next year of your life, that you are going to have the opportunity to experience victory and success, or complete failure and learning from it, and brokenness. And God knows how to use all of that, which is wonderful. Woohoo! So, let me vent. The Bye Felicia made me really sad, because I'm 32 years old, and there are people younger than me who've had to go through a lot of life experiences, who've matured more and have more grown common sense than people my age who should know better. And it was frustrating because, just forgive and forget. No. Forgiveness needs to happen. If you're going on the religious basis, we must forgive each other as Christ forgave us, because if we don't, we will be judged by our unforgiveness and we won't be forgiven. So, there you go right there. I have to forgive, because if I want to receive the forgiveness that I know I've already received in Christ, because I know myself and I know all the weird twisted things that happen in my head, and if you don't want to admit that that happens, you're lying. There are lots of weird twisted places that the mind can go, and the human condition can go. We've seen the best and we've seen the worst, and we're used to always seeing the worst, which is sad. And you learn from that. And I'm not saying that people who do twisted, terrible things shouldn't receive forgiveness, but I think we also have enough common sense and wisdom to know that because I know you're prone to making these kind of mistakes, I'm not going to put myself in a situation that's going to allow you to take advantage of me and make that same mistake again, with me bearing the brunt of it and being the punching bag, essentially. Which, no, it's not actually a punching bag, but basically the receptacle. I don't want to be a trash can for your crap because you're so used to doing that kind of crap all the time. So I learned to wipe my hands of it. And when I brought that up and said, I do forgive you, I'm not holding this against you, but please remember that based on these things that you did, I'm not going to trust you with all of these things because I know better and I have wisdom. And this person got very upset, got very offended, and said, you know what? I'm done with you. And you know what? You did me a favor. So thank you. And that's why eventually you have to say something to the effect of, bye, Felicia, with the best Marilyn Monroe meme I've seen Googling the memes on the internet. So that was a thing. That happened yesterday. Today, for those who understand infant loss and miscarriage, yes, I'm still walking through that because we experienced a miscarriage in January. And I'm telling you, there are certain levels of brokenness. I never understood how incredibly broken you could feel when you have such incredible hope, wanting to have a kid, wanting to have your own family, and suddenly that just gets taken away from you as you walk in the midst of it, and it sucks. But at the same time, there are different people going through different seasons. This is something quite beautiful and unique, and I don't know if you're going to actually be able to see it, but I never noticed it before until I realized that it was coming from my tears, that you get little speckles and stuff. Your eyelashes spout back at your glasses. Whew. Okay. There's such an incredible feeling of brokenness and loss that I have never experienced before in my life. You go through grief, you lose people, you go through crisis, and you feel busted. And wow, I just feel like it's a whole new, achievement unlocked that I never wanted to have ever achieved. Oh, and it sucks. It hurts so bad. And occasionally you come back around that bend when you think you're okay and you think you're fine and you think that you've moved forward or moved past a certain amount of pain and brokenness, and then suddenly you feel all busted again. And I feel like that today. Because I know eventually, I hate waiting. Oh, do I hate waiting. And I've learned a long time ago, you shouldn't ask God for patience because he'll give you opportunities to be patient. And this is one of those opportunities. And whoo. The last time I felt like this, I basically kind of just threw my hands in the air and said, okay, here, I'm obviously not supposed to hold on to this. So I'm just going to leave this here, God, and you can take care of it. I'm going to walk away. Walk away. Walk away. Yes, I walked away. And suddenly forgot about it, and then 2 months had went by, and didn't know what was going on. Wow, oh, look, this sort of thing happened, you know. There's finding that balance, and it makes me think of plants. I was gifted a lot of plants in the last year or two, so now there's a portion of my kitchen that looks like a jungle, and so I want to make sure that those plants thrive. I prefer them not to completely shrivel up and die, and I've never seen myself as a green thumb, so I don't purposely try to grow things, but when I'm given something, I try my best to maintain it and make sure it lives as long as I possibly can allow it to live within reason. And in this imagery, what I'm saying is there's a balance between neglect and over pruning. Because sometimes you prune things back and you're like, wow, this looks like it might die if I do too much to it. And then suddenly, after all of that pruning and clipping off all of that death, there's so much life that comes from it. It does need regular watering and attention, so it's one of those things that reminds you every day or every other day, or make sure the well doesn't run dry in your heart when it comes to your relationship with God, because He is the living water. You taste and see that the Lord is good, and you don't thirst. You don't, when you have that kind of connection in like worship and praise, and it's difficult to explain to people unless they've experienced it, and even to remind yourself if you haven't experienced it recently, because I do remember just certain worship moments that I've had with God, and they were better than any experience I've ever had to date. And that includes being married and enjoying married things. So when you think that sort of thing doesn't actually happen in your spiritual walk in life, it does. And I remember it, and ooh, I wish I craved that more than I crave certain foods and certain experiences that I have as a married woman. So without going further into that, enjoy implying and assuming all that you want to assume with it. So physically, my body has healed. It feels like it's reset itself. And I've had, like, a lot of people don't want to ask, but want to know. So this is me wanting and saying and knowing it. Ooh, it's only 17 and a half minutes. That works. Usually these take a half an hour, so let's see what happens in 15 more minutes. But physically, a lot of people want to know where we are, what we're doing. On that end, because we're in that season of, you know, let's have babies, let's start a family, and there are a lot of other people that are walking through those seasons too. And I'm incredibly, like, it looks like I'm not being genuine when I say I am happy for those people. I am. But I want to feel a little sorry for myself sometimes too, because I was there and I'm not there anymore, and I want to be there. And that sucks, and it's tender, and it's sensitive, and so I appreciate people who don't bring it up. More speckles. I'm just gonna keep my glasses off. I won't be able to see you, but at least I don't have to keep wiping speckles off the glasses for right now. So, in that aspect, I appreciate people's sensitivity. But I don't mind talking about it, because that's the one thing I've learned is I need to continue to find my voice. And so the fact that I can have moments like this and still be able to communicate what needs to be said is progress. It's good stuff to let people know, because I don't have a problem sharing it. We are more than willing to jump back into it again. We're gonna keep trying. And I didn't think I was going to be as upset or disappointed or bitter if we didn't get pregnant this month. This is the part I might edit out, because it is what it is, but this is my video diary, so take it for what it is, and if it makes you uncomfortable, you can click away. If you've already sat through a 20-minute video, kudos to you, because most people don't do that. So, I've started spotting today. And I've been having little cramps throughout the last week. And based on calendar things, that really shouldn't be happening, and that hasn't happened before in my life. So, it's a little bit daunting. It's a little bit uncomfortable, and it's a little bit surprising because, you know, for a long time I've never known what normal was supposed to be. So that's a thing, because I'm back at the starting gate. Essentially feeling disqualified from the race because our first pregnancy wasn't a success. And I can remember last year going month after month after month going, I feel a little weird, I feel a little different, maybe I'm pregnant, I don't know, I can't tell, because, you know, based on our current technology, those EPT tests commercials get really, really frustrating. Imagine knowing you're pregnant the moment it happens. And a part of me goes, yeah, I wish I could know that, so I know exactly how I should proceed forward. Because if I'm PMSing, then fine. But if I'm not PMSing, that means I can't, like, console myself with a drink at night. You know what I'm saying? Everything in moderation. And I know not to overindulge, and I don't. Except with food. Food makes me comfy, and I have to deal with this. This is the thing for me. This is the That's another thing that's frustrated me in the last 2 to 3 months. I've lost the ability to complete sentences. So I'll have conversations with people, and it's as if I'm speaking a second language that I didn't learn from birth. And I've only ever spoken English all my life, and so it's difficult when, like, I know words. I know the English language. It is my primary language, and suddenly I've lost the ability to multitask and the ability to form sentences with clear thought. So, what was I getting ready to say? Everybody has little, on a side topic of, like, self-esteem issues, there's always something that you're like, there's always that thing that gets you, and you're like, I know I'm beautiful, everybody tells me I'm beautiful, but I can't get over this. This is my self-image issue, is this dumb chin. And I try my best to, like, try to be seemly and pretty when I vlog. So, but when I like food a little too much, it comes out with full force, and that's a thing. So, yeah. This week got really, really busy, too. Now, see, there it is. 23 minutes on the clock. See, half an hour vlogs. That's what usually happens. That's my video diaries. And, this week got really, really busy. It also got really, really cold because spring has sprung, and then I just looked at the calendar for weather reports, and it says Sunday we're expecting snow. What? Why? Ugh. It should be over. Side note, this might be distracting, but honestly, I like the way my body feels in a bra. I know that's going to seem anti-feminist to some people who are like, be free, be natural. And I'm like, I get it. I don't feel comfortable in that. So have fun looking at my chesticle cover, because I make sure that it's covered so you can't see certain things that you shouldn't see, but I like the way it looks in the shape, so I'm like, ooh, I feel a bit more feminine in my bra. So anywho, this week got really busy. I think it's the 3rd or 4th time I've already said that. So I wanted to make brownies for tonight for vocal rehearsals and be like, hey, I'm having a Pampered Chef open house on Saturday. Feel free to come and eat tasty goodies like this. So that'll happen by the afternoon. once I go and get all the materials I need. Yay! And then, just trying to talk with people and keep in touch with people about different things. Thursday, I have a semi-babysitting gig. Friday, I have a teeth cleaning, and I haven't flossed in months. I haven't flossed in months. And flossing's the big thing for me when I go to get my teeth cleaned, is that's where it shows you've not thoroughly cleaned your teeth the way you should. So I'll have to work on that too between now and Friday. It's only Tuesday, so if I flossed morning and evening, if I brush, rinsed, and flossed instead of just brushing at night, I know that that would clear up the sensitivity that's probably going to happen when I go on Friday. So, that's a thing. And then Friday night, I'm hoping to get to a support group and meet some people that I've gotten connected with through Facebook. I'm looking forward to meeting them in person and probably just losing my stuff again. But it's a beautiful thing, and I'm excited, and I don't care that I have to go an hour and a half to Maryland. I'm going to do it. And then there's Saturday. So hopefully between then and now, I can get the house somewhat presentable before I decide, like, to have random people in my house and kind of have my own, like, pseudo easygoing pampered chef party. Because I decided owning my own business would be a great idea, which was not the intent. The intent was I can cook tasty food with better products, and that's what Pampered Chef affords me. And if I could happen to make a little money in the process, that would be cool. So that's that thing. It's brought more structure to my life. It's brought a sense of purpose. This may happen occasionally, but it doesn't happen to the point of I'm going to binge watch something on Netflix, cry on the couch, and eat a sleeve of Thin Mints all day, and that's it, which is useful. Everything needs to be in moderation. So I did not expect to get this red or this upset, but the good thing about video diaries for me is that, like, I know there are things I'm processing, and for me, instead of just letting them whirl in my head like my husband, God bless him, he can do that. He has the brain for that. I don't. I have to let it come out. I need to hear it, let it bounce back, and process it again so that I know, oh, that's what God is dealing with me about. That's what I'm dealing with in my own head and heart. Wow. Life. Video diaries. So, and bringing it all back, that's the reason why I haven't posted anything in like 2 or 3 days, because I keep getting distracted. I go, I need to wake up first thing in the morning, do a Connie Reads, post it. I end up doing 15 other things because I do 15 other things. And then suddenly something else needs my attention, life starts to happen, and by the end of the night I'm like, I'm tired, Mustachio's playing games, and I don't have a quiet place to think and read out loud. So that becomes a thing. And I gotta go. So be careful with that and enjoy, please, and thank you. And so yeah, those who, I still appreciate all the comments. I know more people are reading Hatchet with me, and I shudder at some of those because some of those I just didn't care. I just turned on the video and started reading. So, but thank you, and I hope you continue to have a great day. I know I will. I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget things. Like Thursday, I'm doing a babysitting gig, and I have to be at a certain place at a certain time, or that kid's not going to be able to get off the bus safely. And as a bus driver, I know you want to be where you need to be on time so that you don't cause any more riff and issues. I had Thin Mints on this plate, so I'm going to say goodbye with this. Close up.